As I've traveled the country over the years, teaching and meeting with appraisers, the worst conversations I have, and the ones that are just heartbreaking, are when an appraiser tells me they've lost all of their work, all the copies of the reports they've ever worked on. 10 years ago, that would happen because of fire or flood or natural disaster, when the bulk of the work was still done on paper. These days, so much of an appraiser's work file is electronic, and for good reason, and so backups are critical. It's just that most appraisers don't have what they think they have. Sometimes they don't even know what they need. They see the word backup on the TV commercial and just run with it and take their chances. They could be using a hard drive mirroring solution like Carbonite or Mozy, or worse, a file sharing solution like Dropbox or OneDrive. I'm not trying to knock these other consumer programs. They're great for what they do. They're useful tools. I have a hard drive mirroring solution at home for my personal stuff, and I use Dropbox and Google Drive and OneDrive for my work every single day. But none of them are my business backups. Vault is designed specifically to back up an appraiser's data, and not just their files and work files, but user settings and databases as well. Over the years, I've done a lot of research on these consumer and alternative business online backups, and they come in 3 distinct flavors: file sharing solutions, hard drive mirroring solutions, and true archives. Here's what I tell appraisers about these, what they get, and what they don't get. Services like Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive are designed to share files between people and computers. It's actually hard to overestimate how incredibly useful that is, even for appraisers. The problems start though when the appraiser uses a file sharing solution as if it's an online archive. The main problem I hear about is actually self-inflicted more than anything. The way these file sharing solutions work means they can magnify human error. For instance, if I have Butterfingers working late one night and I accidentally remove a file from my computer, it's not just deleted from that machine. Dropbox automatically removes that file from everywhere, from every computer that's tied to that Dropbox. And if I don't realize that immediately, that I've done that, I can lose the ability to undelete that file after a couple of weeks. Another big issue is that Dropbox doesn't back up an appraiser's program settings. One of the biggest frustrations in getting a new computer, and one of the reasons many appraisers put that off much longer than they probably should, is that it's really a time-consuming and painful process to make their program on the new machine look and act like it did on the old one. They don't want to have to set up their common responses again, their digital signatures, their contacts, or their photos or comps databases. Dropbox doesn't save any of that anyway, only the files. Vault with Exact saves it all. What I tell appraisers that use Dropbox is very simple. Keep using Dropbox. Just don't rely on it as an archive. Use Dropbox for sharing files between people and devices, but also use Vault as an archive. The most common consumer solution that I hear from appraisers that they use is Carbonite. Most of these online mirroring solutions require that you keep all the files on your computer and connected to the internet. If you delete a file off your computer, they'll delete it for you right out of your online backup automatically. Vault doesn't do that. Secondly, keep in mind that these solutions only back up files based on the Windows file name. With Vault, you can log in and search for files based on all kinds of criteria: borrower name, street name, date of inspection, neighborhood, form type, and a bunch of others. And you can even sort by these as well if you want to. You certainly can't do that with Carbonite. But, most importantly, Carbonite doesn't back up your databases and most of your user settings. Contacts, common responses, photos, and comps databases, they're all in the program data folder in Windows, which Carbonite won't allow you to back up unless you buy their database backup solution, which starts at $5.99 a year right now. Even then, I hear from our technical support teams that from time to time, they get calls from Carbonite users who have bought this expensive service and implemented it, but can't restore their databases from Carbonite because they've been corrupted for some reason. That doesn't happen every time, but do you want to take the chance? what appraisers really want and what they really need is an actual archiving service online, a place where they can store their files and settings and not worry about the day-to-day hardware, where they can have a hard drive go bad or drop their laptop or even lose their office to flood or fire. An appraiser should be able to go get a new computer off the shelf at the store, download and install Total in the Vault, download their settings and databases and at least the last few files they've been working on, and be up and running in less than an hour. An appraiser who's already busy right now and then suffers a hard drive failure is in a world of hurt if they have to take 2 days to get their computer set back up and configured. Vault with Exact is the way to go. With any other service, you have to be a technician or hire a technician to do this manually for you, and it'll take longer anyway. Vault is the easiest, most complete solution for an appraiser who wants a true archive for their appraisal business, and to make certain they'll have access to their files and settings when and where they need them.